Hey everyone, it is Bren here from Bgeeky blog, and today is Teen Wolf Thursday recap, and we are recapping episode 13 of season 5's Teen Wolf called Codominance. And as you know, I like to share tidbits, definitions of things, and I love that this is called Codominance. It was taken from a scene in which Hayden, Liam, Corey, and Mason all share the same biology class with a teacher that nobody seems to know her name, but I love her because she's very hard on all her students, and let's face it, a hard-ass kind of teacher is my kind of teacher, and you get the most out of it. So I love that she is teaching them about codominance, and codominance means in genetics of relating the two different alleles, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, that are fully expressed in an individual. I find that Corey was really intrigued by the definition, and Hayden, I think the chimeras, because they share different traits. I think it kind of definitely plays up the whole Dread Doctor testing kind of thing with the Beast of Gévaudan and the chimeras. Speaking of the chimeras, they are all about Team Theo. Hayden especially is on board with Theo because she feels like she owes him a lot for him saving her life. And Corey believes that Theo is looking out for everybody's best interest, and that he doesn't believe that Theo is a bad guy and that there are no bad guys, and that the real threat is the Beast of Gévaudan, which apparently nobody really knows about, or Scott's not really letting anybody know about the Beast of Gévaudan. So it's kind of weird that Mason doesn't know what is going to be going down. It seems like Team Chimera is definitely one up on Scott McCall's pack. So for the Scott McCall pack, of course, it's trying to get back together. I love how Styles mentioned the pack as like a band. And apparently the band can't be without a drummer, and that drummer being Liam. Liam comes to Scott basically pleading for him to let him help Scott and Styles on their next mission, in which to save Kira. But Scott still is a little bitter about what happened and how Liam tried to kill him for Hayden. So I think that they still have a little ways to go, which I think is expected. I mean, if your beta tried to kill you, or your best friend tried to kill you, or your friend tried to kill you, you kind of take some time to rekindle that relationship. Speaking of Kira, they do go on a mission to save her from the shapeshifters. Her mom believes this is the best route and way for her to go. I forget the name of the place that she went to. I will find it and put it down below, or talk about it next time. But she believes that they can help Kira tame her inner fox that has been surfacing and kind of controlling Kira more. So she goes through these tests that the shapeshifters give her. Initially, they fight her to kind of see how strong she is, and they realize that she's weak, and that if they can't help her tame her inner fox, she will then become a shapeshifter as well and dwell with them for the rest of her life. Of course, everybody in the fandom and everybody that's on Team Kitsune Kira didn't like the idea of that bargain, and I really enjoyed Kira's storyline. I feel like she has probably one of the stronger storylines for the females on the show. And her fighting her inner demon, her inner fox. It was definitely cool to see Kira fighting her inner fox through taking on the Oni and unleashing her inner fox. That was pretty badass how that was revealed, and definitely probably one of the highlights so far of season 5. Unfortunately, Kira thinks that she has tamed her fox, that she took down the Oni because of her own will and power. We find out later from the shapeshifters, it wasn't her own will and power, it was the fox's strength that took on the Oni and defeated the Oni. So now she has to be a shapeshifter for life. And Mama Yukamara was not all for that and tells Kira to run, but unfortunately the shapeshifters have compromised her way out. So the Yukamaras are about to take on the shapeshifters, and we get to see Scott roll on in with Roscoe, roll on out of the Jeep, and go to the rescue and save Kira. I think a favorite scene of mine this whole episode was the kiss between Scott and Kira. It was kind of unexpected because they have been so cutesy and not really too much in your face PDA. They don't really get the opportunity to kiss, and when they do, it always gets broken up. So it was a fun little scene to see Styles like, oh crap, looking back in the back of Roscoe the Jeep and seeing Scott and Kara kissing and rekindling, and, of course, the I love yous. Leading on to this episode, a couple other highlights that I do want to touch base on, of course, is Lydia Martin learning her banshee abilities. Meredith teaches Lydia that if she focuses her scream on an object, she's able to shatter it. So she learns how exactly Dr. Volek was able to get out of his cell by taking her scream and focusing onto the glass to shatter it. So I think it's cool that she's learning her abilities. Definitely something to look forward to for Lydia is that she gets a premonition of things, and that being she sees the names that they had initialed on the bookshelf in the library from the very first episode of 5A. She revisits that shelf and all the names are gone. And Meredith points out that all the names are gone. It's not just your friends. So obviously the Beast of Gévaudan is going to take down most of Beacon Hills High School, it seems, or Beacon Hills completely. Speaking of death, it seems that Meredith was killed by Theo. We see this scene that's kind of ominous of her on a table and Theo slashing her throat out, and then Lydia screams. Obviously something did happen to Meredith and she has passed on because she's in almost like a ghost form for Lydia. So I wonder if Theo actually did kill her and she's witnessing her death firsthand. So I don't know. I hope that's not a plot hole that doesn't get answered. I mean, I think we kind of know, but I like things with confirmation. Talking about Theo, he has a run-in with the Dread Doctors and the Beast of Gévaudan. Obviously, the Dread Doctors are not happy with Theo and his Chimera pack. They are aware that he has created the pack, but there's still that awkward tension between the Dread Doctors and Theo. Theo claims that he is not an alpha, as his eyes are still golden, and is looking to become an alpha and looking for an alpha to take down. In the process, he does see the Beast of Gévaudan while Tracy and him go on the hunt at Beacon Hills High School. And while they are going on the hunt, they see the saying from last episode, and I butchered it last time, so I'm not going to say it again, but it's basically a tool used from the Dread Doctors to remind whoever is the Beast of Gévaudan of themselves and who they are underneath. And I'm curious to know who it is. Tracy kind of said it was a teenager, and Theo kind of alluded to that it was a teenager, but it could be somebody else underneath. I kind of have my ideas of who I think is the Beast of Gévaudan, but I'm curious to know exactly who it is, especially since Theo said that they turn back into their human form in the day. So I'm definitely curious to know who the Beast of Gévaudan is. Back to Theo and the whole idea of the Alpha Pack, we did find out at the very end of episode 13 that Theo is on the hunt for an Alpha and he's going to go try and find Deucalion, who he also said that he knows in 5A as the Alpha to him, which we now know is a lie. But he is part wolf. So I'm kind of curious to know how Deucalion and Theo are going to play along in the next episode. So those are my highlights from episode 13. But a couple things I want you guys to kind of keep in mind that I'm keeping in the back of my mind as well is the shapeshifters. Obviously, they have claimed Kira and want her to become a shapeshifter like them. And Kira was able to escape. I don't think the shapeshifters are going to let that go easily. I think they're going to be trying to hunt down Kira and bring her back to the desert to fulfill the obligation and basically also fulfill the pact that was made. I have a feeling, though, that Kira could be staying around, but there are rumors that she is leaving. I hope those aren't true, but I also get the feeling that maybe Miss Yukamara, Kira's mom, is going to take her place instead as a shapeshifter for life. Another thing also to keep in the back of your mind as we are going forward with episodes, we want to keep kind of track exactly the timelines. Lydia Martin scenes are kind of difficult to kind of follow. They go from the past to the present to the future. So I'm excited to see everything kind of come together in the timeline. I feel like we're finally going to be back into the present. Yeah, the timeline has been all kinds of screwy. So those are my highlight moments, things to keep ahead. I also want to highlight some moments I didn't really talk about in length, but I really, really loved all the skills moments. I was glad Styles finally let off his chest the whole thing with Donovan and that guilt to Scott. And of course, Scott being the true alpha that he is, said, I wish all that blood was on me. So I really liked those moments, really loved the scenes together. Dylan O'Brien and Tyler Posey's chemistry and bromance is definitely translated onto the screen. I also really enjoyed the Corey and Mason kiss. Finally, they kissed. I think it was a ship that has been meant to be and a ship that everybody seems to be on board with. And I'm really happy to see a love interest between Mason and Corey, especially since we kind of lost a lot of our gay LGBT relationships on Teen Wolf, so I'm glad to have that back. All right, so please share with me your favorite moments. Comment below if you think you know who the Beast of Javanon is or you have any assumptions. Subscribe, like, share, and also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and of course our website at Bgeeky blog. I'm Bren, and this is a Teen Wolf Thursday recap.